And I've been chillin', watching the ocean with you. Baby, up with a slow motion crew. And we up in our cloudlands when people change, but not
Hey, what's
us.
going on, everybody?
And
This is
we just
Muskie from
chillin',
State
kicking
43,
it,
and today we are going to do an aircraft event of the solo assault exercises. So I think a lot of players were probably getting stuck on either level 13 or level 16. In general, I think level 16 is going to be the one that's going to cause most free-to-play players some trouble. I made sure this time to not buy any of the packs before doing this, so I can show you kind of like the strategy I'm using to pass level 16. Just the first thing to think about for this event is going to be pretty much a damage check. So DPS check. So basically, if you're not spending money, if you don't have the right gear, it's, your heroes are going to matter a lot. Your hero gear, your chief gear is going to matter a lot. Your troops actually won't matter. They're going to give you plasma 8 T11s. So it's kind of like everybody gets the same thing. So that won't be too much of a problem. But yes, your hero gear will matter a lot. Aside from that, though, I have been able to beat 16 without having to purchase any packs. So it is possible, though this level will take a couple tries. So I'm just going to go over the general strategy of how to do this so that other players can follow along as well. Okay. And I did do this while its difficulty is 100. It does, reduce in difficulty every day. So that helps a little bit, but still, just so I can do it at the highest level. All right, let's go. So the first thing for this boss is once you port in, you want to be able to just send in your 2 marches right away. And you can kind of ignore all the enemies that are marching towards you. That doesn't really matter as their march isn't going to really affect what you're going to do because you're going to port away from their march rapidly. So similar idea here is you definitely don't want to be spending any time attacking any of the enemies on the map. And then you do also want to be using your port almost immediately as soon as it's back up again. So, and the kind of rotation for that is going to be every 2 rounds of attacks you want to be porting. So just remember that rotation. That's how you're going to be able to do this. I kind of screwed up a little bit, but it's okay. I'll get back on the rotation after this port. Okay, cool. So you see, as soon as damage registers, you can port and you'll get your troops back. And the reason you do this is so that your troops can come home a little bit faster than otherwise. Okay, and this is actually going to be a little bit easier for me because I've already gotten past this level, got the airship upgrades. But if you follow this general strategy, you should be able to complete this boss on 16 without issues. And there you go. That should be able to do it, but it's pretty much down to the wire last second. So some key strategies here to think about is make sure you're porting onto the left side. I found this to be extremely helpful because I'm still using my specific hero setups. I don't use the auto march because the auto march is not the best damage wise. So spend a couple attempts at this boss checking your heroes and figuring out what the best combination of heroes give you the best damage. For example, I do have my Daryl resonating with my Luca. However, my Luca actually just on a solo march does more damage than the Daryl. So I use the Luca for the march instead of using the Daryl. So that actually worked out better. As far as troop formations go, you don't have to worry too much about the specific formations. It really doesn't change the damage much, if at all. So it's not a big deal. And honestly, it's just going to take you a lot more time to mess with it. So just go ahead and use, but do make sure that you are using the right heroes. Yeah, and that should do it. If you try this, I mean, some part of this too is going to be about luck. The damage varies depending on the hit. So like, not all the damages are going to do the same. For example, here I'm doing, okay, so that last hit doesn't count. So let's start with like somewhere here. So I'm doing like 26 on the secondary march, and then the primary march I'm doing like 41. But sometimes the primary march will do like 32. So you can see there's a huge difference in damage, and that's just because there's like some sort of like randomness that happens too. So you can't really fight that. Just kind of have to deal with it. Sometimes if you randomly will do a lot more damage, and then you'll finish the boss, etc. So sometimes it does take a little bit more tries as well. Lastly, a lot of this fight is going to come down to the wire, so pretty much that last couple of seconds, which is why you have to use the teleportation trick. So you have to use the relocators to basically recall your marches back. You can't have them wait until they're back. You also do have to port to the right or left side of the boss. I use, again, the left side because it's faster to hit the attack button on the boss, as well as go to my troop formation that way, because it all stays on the right side of my phone screen, so my right hand can hit it. But it's kind of up to you, but you do want to stay on the right and left, not on the bottom, as the bottom actually does have a longer march. And basically stay where I was. That's going to give you about like a 3.5 to 4 second march instead of a 5 second march around the bottom side, of 4.5 to 5 seconds. I know the numbers don't seem like a lot, but when you make about 10 marches and you're trying to save just a couple seconds so you can make this fight, it does make a huge difference. And for reference, here is my hero gear and here's my badges. And then I will show you, those are chief gear, and this is my hero gear, so you can kind of see what I'm working with. So mostly yellows on the brawler, and of course, basically purples on the rider stuff. Yeah. So not super crazy gear, but also not like, basic free-to-play gear probably. I'm also P8. Again, it doesn't really matter too much. Like, honestly, like my rider is still at P6. My infantry is P7. My only P8 is going to be the hunter, because I just recently made P8. So, things like Massive March don't matter, but your buffs do matter, and your talents do matter as well. So make sure these are correctly slotted. Honestly, I did this on like my normal econ build. Like, I still have my econ build. I'm sure if I made it more war focused and went down further on the tree, I could maybe do a little more damage. But honestly, if you can pass it, you really don't need to make that adjustment, because I have to do that adjustment with talent switch, which I don't have too many of left. I hope that helps people who are doing this event now. It's going to be tough. Again, just it's okay if you can't do it. Just wait until the weekend and you can do the coordinator operation with other folks and then get more rewards. Make sure you're upgrading your airplane as much as possible as well. I do focus on like hunter lethality and infantry health, but otherwise upgrade evenly, because you're going to need all of it upgraded to go to 2-star anyway. So it's not really like you can skip it and not do rider things. You have to do the rider components as well. Cool. Yeah. Again, DPS check. So don't worry too much if it doesn't quite work out for you. It's kind of like part of the it's kind of part of the whole game to make people pay. So their intent obviously is to make sure that people are paying for the event and not just getting like, to level 120 for free, right? So that's intentional. So don't worry too much if you can't pass like certain levels. You can of course just wait until second day when the boss gets a little bit weaker, and then you can maybe pass it then. Anyways, good luck with this event. I don't know how I feel about this in general, but maybe I'll just do the whole like event review on a different video. I think for now I'll just show people how to pass level 16, so at least you have the basics. And if it works out for you, great, congratulations. This is Masaki from State 43. You stay classy.